What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466 Cards, and today we have a bit of a newsy item regarding alt. Normally, I stay away from these type of topics and newsy items because usually it's covered by other people, whether it's card porn, whether it's Neo Cards and Comics, or Dustin the Sports Card Dad. But I haven't seen anything about this from them, so I thought it was worth talking about, and I can give you my thoughts from a business perspective. So sorry, Dustin, if I scooped you on this one. So just the background about alts. What they are is they do two things actually. One is they serve as a marketplace for cards, both in an auction format and in a fixed price marketplace. The other thing that they do is that they provide an estimated alt value based off of an algorithm that they built to provide you their guess as to what the value is, right? And then they provide a range here, but there's 808 is the value on the screen right now. 667 to 977 is the range that they think is a rough is what they believe the value is, right? And you can see they even have a confidence interval for high. Now the other thing is they also buy cards to sell on their marketplace, or perhaps even live at shows. And what's basically a conflict of interest is that they use their own alt values, which is based off of their own algorithm, to price cards and to justify the price that they pay for cards that they will eventually resell. So that's kind of the basis of what alt does, and it's already kind of it's a bit of a conflict of interest there, that I'm using my own values to tell you what price your cards are worth, right? It's a little bit different than Card Ladder, or where I believe they have the predictive value, because Card Ladder isn't also buying and selling cards based off of their own values. They're just they estimate the value for you, right? So with that being said, let's jump into this and why I think there's a conflict of interest based off of something that I saw in Instagram yesterday. Today's March the 9th, so yesterday was March the 8th when I saw this. It came from someone named San Diego Sports Cards 1, and you can read all this here, but the gist of it was they went to alt to see what they pay for a card. Alt had a value on it. When they offered them the card, the alt value went from 5,022 here to 4,200 down here. And so as a result, the amount that alt was willing to pay is it's only worth 4,200, so I'll pay 85% of that, where, before that conversation, the value was at 5K. So it basically went down by, I'm going to do the quick math here, 16%, which is a sizable amount, but also shows a conflict of interest between them trying to maintain accuracy of their alt values and their other objective, which is to make money from their acting as a dealer, basically, right? And so that strikes me as it's uncomfortable how much of a conflict of interest that is, just to be blatant, right? Just to be explicit and blatantly direct about it. But you're like, okay, well, maybe this is a one-off. This isn't something that they do often. Maybe there was a new data point that got fed into the system or what have you. But then this San Diego Sports Cards person started posting other people responding to his story saying, I had multiple experiences like this from this one person, plug in the value, your cards 12097, saying the same thing. And so now it's not just one person saying it, it's multiple people saying the same thing. And you're like, okay, there's a little bit too much smoke here. And then alt came out with a statement. And they basically admitted it. They said, and I've highlighted the important parts here, an outlier transaction was flagged after the card was submitted for sale to alt. There were 3 purchases. One was, the 9 was so close in price to the 9.5 that was flagged and sent for review. After review with one of our experts, outlier comp was removed as potentially suspicious, and the model was rerun, which lowered the value for that card in their alt estimated value. And I feel like alt posted this to be like, see, it's all on the up and up. We reran the model because data points, one of the data points that was fed into the model wasn't right. it's not quite the W they think it is. And here's why. One, when you start picking and choosing which data points you want to feed into your model and algorithm, that suggests that you do this both ways. But my question is, do you think that alt is removing all data points that are outliers and that aren't, don't look suspicious? Or are they just removing the data points that is convenient to serve their purpose as a dealer? So for example, they removed the data point that was too high. The BGS now was too high to the 9.5, and it dragged pulled the value up. Here's a question: what if there was a sale history, a transaction in their sales history that was fed into the model that actually dragged the value down, and it would look suspicious from an objective third party? Are they going to remove that data point? Instead of, the value was 5,000, it got moved down to 4,200. What if there was a data point that was too low, looked suspicious? Are they pulling that out? What if the value had then moved to, instead of 5K, it moved to 5,200 instead of 42, or 5,800 instead of 4,200? Are they doing the reverse where it actually benefits the seller? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, they're not doing that. If they're reviewing transactions, the conflict of interest is, hopefully for you, becomes quite apparent here. That when you get to pick and choose which data points go in, then it's no longer a true model. It is more of a model that fits your purpose. And in this case, that's the problem. There are two purposes. One, to create an accurate model. Two, to make money using the values generated from the model. And this is where they generate the conflict of interest. The second question is going to come here. From this actual conversation that alt had with a seller. It was regarding a sale, and this person had the exact same experience. The model was at one value. They asked to get an offer from alt, and then all of a sudden the value on the system decreased. And in the red there, they literally say, we reprice the cards when we offer on them. And so again, one, conflict of interest, like out the wazoo. Two, doesn't that kind of suggest that the estimated value on their cards is not accurate? Because if they're saying, oh, we actually have to reprice the cards because it's not accurate, and now it's an accurate reflection, well, that suggests that they're generally all not inaccurate, right? If you're saying it's inaccurate all the time so that we have to reprice them on every single on cards we offer them, one, it suggests that your model is inaccurate. Two, it suggests that you basically play fast and loose with what you choose to add or ignore from the model. And I just don't think that they have some kind of arbiter sitting up there on their team, arm's length away, providing a completely objective estimate and opinion on which transactions should be included. I don't think that's happening. And you're like, well, what, like maybe they do. What if they're very objective? They have like they have someone who does this and it's completely on the up and up, and they remove sales comps, whether it benefits alt or it benefits the other party. And I'd say, have they earned that benefit of the doubt? Because I'm going to say no. Because when I hear the name alt, I immediately think I don't trust them. And I actually didn't remember why. I'm like, they did something. And I don't remember what it was, but they did do something. And I was like, what was it? So I actually went deep into the archives here. It was a card porn post from August of 2021. And that's a year and a half ago. And they basically added code to their Chrome extension that took a bunch of your information, a lot of sensitive information. You can see here, if you want to go back into the archives and look, go to card porn, August 10th, 2021, and they were pulling all sorts of personal information that they didn't need for for their purposes of, like, why would you need this if you're a trading card platform, right? You don't need that. And so, yeah, there was a couple of posts here about alts from Card Porn, August of 2021, if you want to go back. And so, to me, that's that's two strikes now, and I'm not one to give someone three strikes when it's kind of along the same lines of sketchy behavior. If it was one thing, it's you're like, okay, maybe, but like two things where you're kind of taking advantage of customers and users, I don't know that I can trust anything that alt does going forward based off of what I'm seeing. And the fact that they readily admit we reprice the cards when we offer on them, and I do not believe at all that they reprice cards that would benefit a possible seller to them. I do not believe that based off of what people are saying and the history that they had with the Chrome extension a year and a half ago. So that's the video. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Vault? Do you agree with my thoughts on this, or do you think that we should give them the benefit of the doubt, or maybe you have a third thought that is in either of those two? But I am interested to see and hear what people think on this one. As we always do, we preview videos that are coming up on the channel here. I've recorded a bunch in advance. I've recorded videos. It's March the 9th. I recorded videos up until the end of March for a possible vacation that may or may not occur, depending on the whims of Expedia. But until then, I'll give you a quick preview. One coming up on Sunday, March the 12th? Is that 12th? I think so. We talk about Panini actually doing something good, so we'll talk about that. And then on Tuesday the 14th, we talk about the number one reason why PSA overtook Beckett. So I hope you found this information, but also this video insightful, thoughtful, interesting, and thank you again for watching and listening, and I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.